A Child's Christmas in Pittsburgh is made possible by contributions from viewers like you.
At Christmas, Pittsburgh has its own traditions, especially for children. The visit to Santa, the animated store windows, the large trees and small figures at the Carnegie, the legendary spirits of Christmas at PPG Place, the nighttime light display at the Pittsburgh Zoo, the holiday flower show at Phipps Conservatory, and the miniature railroad and village at the Buell Science Center. Tonight, the QED Children's Festival Chorus under the direction of Christine Jordanoff and the Carnegie Brass Quintet capture these Pittsburgh traditions as they lead us on a musical journey to the sights and sounds of Christmas. A Child's Christmas in Pittsburgh. Light Up Night in Pittsburgh. One of the signs that a special season is about to begin, Christmas. It's a season for children, and for a time, the child in all of us. There's a sense of continuity in this season, for although the trappings of Christmas may change from year to year, the spirit remains the same. We dress up the kids and parade through downtown, and as we do, we renew a tradition that began in our childhood. We can all recall the sounds of the city at Christmas. On just about every street corner, holiday music. All of this activity is taking place at the corner of 5th and Smithfield. Traditionally, on the day after Thanksgiving, families and shoppers converge on the Golden Triangle to find the Christmas present that's just right, and to look at the animated figures in the department store windows. Pittsburgh kids, trailing along with their parents, have been trotting along Smithfield Street and up and down Fifth Avenue for years. Even as far back as those ancient times when most women shopped in high heels and most men wore hats. But when Mom and Dad brought us downtown, it was to look at the toys and to visit Santa. Most of us have these old photographs and our memories of waiting in line to sit on Santa's knee and whisper the carefully memorized list of toys we wanted. It was an exciting and enjoyable moment, most of the time. But the Santa at Horns was plucky as well as jolly, and listened to what we had to say. At Christmas, the downtown department stores were, and are, wondrous places. Here was a picture-perfect world, always in order and always a delight. We touched and fingered the toys, some as delicate as crystal. We pondered over objects whose usefulness we couldn't quite understand. And we wondered whether any other time of the year offered as much variety and bounty as this. But we knew that if we were good, St. Nicholas would make all of our Christmas dreams come true. If we wished for toys, we also wished for a Christmas that was white. These are the kinds of Christmases we remember, lush, deep, and white. This is closer to the reality, authentic Pittsburgh slush. For those who like facts, our average temperatures for December 25th are a high of 35 degrees and a low of 22, but not too many big snowfalls. But in the kind mirror of memory, the Christmases reflected back to us are always filled with snow. If the working men and women gave Pittsburgh its giant industry, nature gave the city its great hills, perfect for sliding and for sledding. Tastes pretty good, too. The cold weather has brought Pittsburghers outdoors ever since the city was founded. It wasn't too long ago that the pond at Shenley Park was used for ice skating. There's a modern rink in the park now. At the first snowfall, it was a thrill to coast down the hill with Dad. Dad had the thrill of hauling the sled back up again. In the spirit of holiday sharing, everyone got a ride, even the family cat. And there was that moment of immense artistic pride, the creation of our first snowman. In our memories, Christmases are always white. Whatever the weather, there's a place in Pittsburgh where both kids and grown-ups have been going for almost 40 years to get a running start on Christmas. It's the Buell Science Center, the place we first saw the giant pendulum and were stunned by the display of static electricity. Each year in early November, children of all ages open the large doors and enter into a miniature world, the Christmastown Railroad. It's been a holiday must for 3 generations of Pittsburghers. It doesn't matter how many times we visit it, there's always something new to see and something old to remember. This is what it was like in the 50s when our teachers herded us down the huge staircase on a pre-Christmas field trip. This twirling and tiny world is still here. And grandparents, uncles and aunts, moms and dads with their kids, over 120,000 people each year, circle the display where it's always 1920. And the railroad was king, and cities and towns were connected by the trolleys and by railways that had mysterious initials, P&L-E, B&O. The miniature railroad and village opens early in November, at just about the right time to fulfill a special need, about the time we really start thinking about Christmas.
All out the holly, put up the tree before my spirit falls again. Fill up the stockings, I may be rushing things, but deck the halls again now, deck the halls now. For we need a little Christmas right this very minute. Candles in the window, carols at the spinet, yes we
It wouldn't be Christmas without the school pageant. The other kids always got the best parts. Joseph, Mary, the three wise men. We were shepherds. They played Santa or Mrs. Claus. We were trees. But we were there, dancing and singing our hearts out. Mom and Dad were there too, recording for all time our great dramatic moment. The traditions of Christmas pass from generation to generation. To thousands of Pittsburghers, these traditions are not always all American. Probably more than any other city, Pittsburgh preserves a rich variety of ethnic traditions, songs, stories, and customs carried from the old country to the new. These traditions are brought to life every year in the Winter Garden of PPG Place. Here, kids from all over the area come to view the life-size replicas of the Christmas legends from the old country. Grandfather Frost from Russia, who travels the forest dispensing gifts while wearing winter furs or bishop's robes. In the Ukrainian tradition, the head of the household carries a special shaft of wheat into the home, a symbol of the family's gathering together at this special time of year. The German holiday season begins with a celebration of St. Nicholas Day. On Christmas Eve, he brings gifts to all children who have been good. And from somewhere to the north, our own Santa Claus, maker and giver of the toys we find under the tree. La Befana from Italy. She carries a cane as a warning to naughty children and a handbell to announce her arrival. In Pittsburgh, the Italian holiday tradition is strong. That's the way it is in the home of 10-year-old Frank Marino, a member of the QED Children's Festival Chorus. Each year, the family trims the tree and sings the traditional Tu scendi dalla stella.
Who's this?
Well, this is a picture of my mother, Gilda. That's your great-grandma. And I guess I was about 5 years old. We went to a big town. It was real exciting for me because we took a bus.
Frank's grandmother, Carmela Polito, was born in Italy. She is the preserver of tradition, the teller of stories. She passes on to Frank a story her grandmother told her, the story of La Befana.
I'll tell you the story of La Befana the way my grandmother told me.
Okay.
It seems that the three wise men were traveling to find a Christ child. They wanted to adore him. And they asked this old woman if she knew the way or if she could give them directions. But she was busy cleaning and she couldn't even be bothered talking to them. After they left, she reflected and she thought, I should go with them. So she went into the house, she got a basket, she put some food for the journey and little trinkets for the Christ child, and she went on her way to catch up with the three wise men, but she never did catch up with them. But in the meantime, she saw people who were needy, so she gave them some of the food she had in the basket. And she saw little children, and she gave them the little toys that she had intended to give to the Christ child. So that's how the story of La Befana started.
As in most Italian villages, Christmas was centered in and on the church.
The church is the one that got all the decorations. They had the beautiful nativity set, which we call presepio. The one that we showed you in Carnegie Museum, that beautiful Neapolitan presepio.
Yes, I remember.
Well, that's what we used to have in our church. And our priest and his helpers would set it all up. And of course, the most prominent thing was the nativity scene.
Now, 2 generations later and 1,000 miles away from the little village where his grandmother was born, Frank sets up the family presepio.
Very good.
Pittsburgh dresses up for the holidays. The tree at Horns has been hugging the same corner since 1953. And there are other trees downtown. Outdoor trees. Indoor trees. And at night, there are trees with lights. There's also a nighttime tradition just beginning. In Highland Park at the Pittsburgh Zoo, kids and their families can wander through the zoo grounds and see the animals in a new light. Nighttime is also the perfect time for caroling.
Wassail, wassail, all over the town. On red it is white and
Wassail.
red it is
It means good health.
gold, it is
It's an old English tradition from the time when people opened their doors and invited strangers inside to warm themselves by the fire and drink from the wassail bowl.
Here's a health to the cow and to her long tail. Pray God send our master a good cask of ale, a good cask of ale as ever I did see. In the wassail bowl we'll drink unto thee.
That spirit of goodwill and good health, of giving, comes alive in Pittsburgh at Christmas time. That spirit even moves older kids to think of younger kids. Many of the local sororities and fraternities take time away from their studies to brave Pittsburgh's busy intersections and collect coins and dollars for the Free Care Fund of Pittsburgh's Children's Hospital.
Children's Hospital. Thank you very much. Have a nice Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you.
This tradition of giving dates way back to 1933, when the Press Old Newsboys returned to the streets to sell papers and gave over $1,000 to Children's Hospital. KDKA joined the effort in 1946. On their telethon, you usually see kids handing in the money they've collected from their friends and neighbors. Today, the Children's Hospital Fund is the most successful drive of its kind in the world. Sometimes it's possible to both give and receive. That's been the case since 1953 at the Pittsburgh School for the Blind in Oakland. Here you can buy a tree and support the important services of the school. Perhaps no single purchase at Christmas is as important as your Christmas tree. And when it's a family decision, it can take a little time. First, you look around.
I think that's kind of nice. You still aren't too sure?
Take a closer look at one that seems right.
You still want to look?
Listen to the advice of the tree man.
Okay.
Is this one just right?
Think about this one.
Well, maybe.
Yes. I guess that's it.
Usually Mom decides.
Christmas is coming, the goose is getting fat. Please to put a penny in the old man's hat. Please to put a penny in the old man's hat.
The giving at Christmas is not all dollars and cents. There's also the gift of song. Christmas is a time of year when young singers forego the warmth of their homes to bring that gift to the homes of others.
Christmas is coming, the goose is getting fat. Christmas is coming, the goose is getting fat. Christmas is coming, the goose is getting fat. Please put a penny in the old man's hat. If you haven't got a penny, then God bless you. If you haven't got a penny, then God bless you. If you haven't got a penny, then God bless you. Christmas is coming, the goose is getting fat. Christmas is coming, the goose is getting fat. Please put a penny in the old man's hat. If you haven't got a penny, then God bless you. If you haven't got a penny, then God bless you. If you haven't got a penny, then God bless you. If you haven't got a penny, then God bless you. Then God bless you.
The Carnegie in Oakland is a particularly busy place before Christmas. Most of us can remember unloading from the school bus and filing through the immense entranceway. And inside were the biggest trees we'd ever seen, some over 20 feet tall. There was a different theme each year, something we were sure to like. If the trees weren't exciting enough for us, there was another visual treat in the Hall of Architecture at the Carnegie. The Neapolitan Presepio, or manger scene. It was made by Italian artists over 200 years ago and has delighted us each Christmas since 1957. The scene is alive with activity. 88 human figures, 29 animals. We looked at the animals and we wondered, did the oxen really kneel? Did the animals really talk? And we thought about the donkey, still remembered 2,000 years later for carrying Mary to Bethlehem.
Donkey riding over the bumpy road, carry Mary on with her heavy load. Follow Joseph, leading you on your way, until you find a stable, somewhere to rest and stay. Donkey riding over the bumpy road, carry Mary, all with her heavy, all with her heavy, all with her heavy load. Donkey waking on the pre-taking, see our daylight shining with brightest ray, shining with brightest ray. Jingle stars sway, jingle stars, jingle jangle with your heart. Donkey raking on the pre-taking, see our daylight shining, 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 shining with brightest ray. Donkey say, oh, giants, you go your way, hallelujah, Jesus is born today. Rock your bells, sing gladly this message day. Doesn't say of God's cross, say ye promise me. Donkey say, oh, giants, you go your way, hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Christ is born today.
If we had more time at the Carnegie, our parents took us upstairs to see the paintings that, they told us, revealed the true meaning of Christmas. In school, we were often asked to draw or paint pictures of this special season. Some of the art retold the familiar story of what happened in Bethlehem on the first Christmas. A lot of it was about this gentleman, Santa Claus. The Santas came in all shapes and sizes. Santa's bigger than the tree. Santa's round as pumpkins. Santa's with hands up. Santa's squeezing down the chimney. And Santa's flying through the sky. We also drew a lot of trees. It wasn't too hard once you got the hang of it. As a reminder to our parents, we made sure there were always plenty of presents underneath and stockings on the mantelpiece. Mom and Dad taped these works of art to the refrigerator, where they stayed, sometimes till spring. The Holiday Flower Show at Phipps Conservatory in Schenley Park has been a Pittsburgh tradition for over 100 years. It's always been a great place for the family to get away from the hectic pace of the holidays, to stroll around leisurely and marvel at the beauty of the flowers. The floral displays and beautifully designed spaces are gorgeous, orderly, and elegant. Classical. Phipps Conservatory opened to the public in 1893 and hasn't changed too much over the course of the years. When our school or our parents took us there, we enjoyed the flowers. They were pretty. But we also liked just being inside the big glass building. There was a room full of prickly cactus. Cacti, we learned, was the plural. And if you wandered off alone down the narrow lanes of the palm court, it was kind of scary. But there were plenty of people there during the holidays, and tucked into the trees and among the shrubs and flowers, there were plenty of neat things to see. If, when we were young, it was the fun that brought us to Phipps, what brings us back year after year is the pure beauty of the flowers. In the glow of candlelight, we gathered together on Christmas Eve to celebrate the night long ago when angels appeared and a star stood still in the heavens, that holy night that made all of our Christmases possible.
Angels we have heard on high, sweetly singing o'er the place, and the mountains in reply, echoing their joyous strains.
A Child's Christmas in Pittsburgh has been made possible by contributions from viewers like you.
For information on obtaining other videos in the Pittsburgh Home Video Collection, please call Collect 412-622-1307 or write to QED Enterprises, 4802 Fifth Avenue, Pittsburgh, PA 15213.